What's up, Nova Heads? It's Amber Nova.
This is Chris Lights Out Lytle.
Hi, this is Ray Boom Boom Mancini.
Ice Boogie.
It's the real and raw All Against Art Squad.
This is Smiling Sam Alvey.
It's Archimedes.
I'm Jack Cartwheel, the real deal, the human highlight reel.
This is Steve Mowry.
I'm Victor Henry.
Boy, Bulletproof Trooper.
Zoe Stark.
It's ECW Original, The Enforcer, C.W. Anderson.
This is Honest John.
Hyper Street.
I'm Luis Moreno.
And this is Mr. Classic.
I'm Jason Poulet.
The young ghost. It's old Hattie Price here.
When I say what's my name, tonight.
Richie Slade.
My name is Gino Rivera, the Frank Sinatra of the Spanish Mafia.
The incredible one, Anthony Idol.
This is Ken Shamrock.
The Golden Boy, Jordan Clearwater.
Yo, watch and listen.
Championship Online.
Podcast. This is Alex Mars here. Hi, Richard Mares.
So, please listen to it, otherwise be cursed. Okay, see you later, love that dinners.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You're now watching and listening to Championship on the Line podcast. If you're new to this channel, my name is Alex, and my co-host name is Rich, and this is Championship on the Line podcast. And today is a very, very special episode because we got a pro wrestler in the house. This gentleman here has been making waves in the Empire Wrestling Federation. He's been making waves in the Hard Knocks Wrestling, also winning the title there at Hard Knocks Wrestling, former champion over there. And it's very, very exciting to have him himself. The Vato Loco himself, ladies and gentlemen, Erick Rojas, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, man? How you doing? It's good to be here. Good to be here.
Awesome, man. It's a pleasure to have you on, and we're very excited to have you on the podcast. And before we start, we have a quick segue we like to do. We ask 10 fun questions about yourself. Is that cool to do with you?
I'm cool with that, man.
All right, cool. Take it away, Rich.
Awesome. We'll start right away. First question, what is your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, man. I got a long list of those things right now. But all I can say is at the very top of my head right now is Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head.
Nice. It's true. I think no one really talks about that one. I feel like
they really don't.
It's
like,
underrated.
Unless you're like really into the car community and really into drifting, that's when it gets brought up a lot.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, very underrated, I feel like. It's a great movie.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
For sure. Awesome pick. Next, do you have a favorite TV show of all time?
I wouldn't say favorite TV show of all time because I don't really watch that much TV right now because I'm so busy with wrestling and everything else going on. So I would say I'm heavily into Dragon Ball. So that's my biggest thing right now. On top of that, Dragon Ball is one of the biggest influence for me to work out and stay in shape.
Nice.
Do you have like a favorite, like your go-to character, like your favorite?
Vegeta. Without a doubt, Vegeta.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Awesome. Next one, do you have a favorite band or music artist you like to listen to?
Oh, man. I got a lot of those right there. So when it comes to like music, I like to be specific in like my favorite artists and genres. So when it comes to, let's say, metal, one of my favorite bands is I Prevail. I love Linkin Park with all my heart. That's like my first favorite band I've ever got into. And I've went to concerts such as I Prevail, We Came as Romans, Rise Against. And when it comes to rap, my number one favorite artist that I always talk about that I'm like diehard fan of is Eminem, without a doubt.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Easily, nice. Yeah. Oh no, he's just a GOAT pretty much, just in general, just a legend, instantly.
Mm-hmm.
And like anyone that says, oh yeah, anyone that says like, oh, I don't like him, well maybe you don't, but you probably have like one song that you like. Like exactly. That guy, I mean, it's hard not to like something from that artist.
Right.
What's your favorite song from him?
Oh man, like on my Spotify, I have like I would say about 100, if not over 100 songs of his. But I would say the first song that I've ever heard from him was Cleaning Out My Closet. And the song that really got me into him was Crack a Bottle.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of forgotten too, Cracker Ball. That was a good song. People forget
Mhm.
about that one.
Oh yeah, this is the best.
Awesome. Next question. Do you have a favorite meal you like to eat?
I love my chicken and rice, so I can never say no to that or sushi.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
For sushi, do you have like a go-to spot?
No, as long as the sushi is good, I'm going there, and I'll
That's
go
it,
back to
yeah.
it.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Next question. If you were at a 7-Eleven and you only could pick 5 items, what would those items be?
I'm always hitting up 7-Eleven. So the things that I get from 7-Eleven, my go-to is usually water, a pre-workout, protein cookie, some gum, and then like a sandwich.
Okay,
Mhm.
nice. Finally, we got a good answer because it's been like hit and miss. Some are like, oh yeah, and then like, oh, how do we go there? And it's like, okay. But I feel like everyone goes to 7-Eleven. It's like a place that you have to
It's
go.
my favorite spot to hit up.
Yeah.
Nice. Because we had like CJ Thunder. He had like a very similar list, like a water, an energy drink, some candy. And then we had Alan Breeze not too long ago. And he just said, well, 5 $100 bills. I mean, I guess that counts. I mean, we'll allow it.
I guess when you feel the breeze too much, you get into it.
Yeah, right. Right. Nice. But awesome. Next one, do you have a favorite video game?
So one thing about me is I'm a low-key gamer, so I play a lot of things. So I play a lot of Skyrim. I play a lot of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. I play a lot of UFC 4. I just recently got into what was that game? I'm trying to think. I just recently got into Dying Light, and I would say my go-to favorite game to play when I have like when I feel like I'm not into it, I usually just go straight back to Halo 3.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah, really like big variety, like first-person shooter action, and then you have sports. Did you like the old school consoles? Like right now, I think like it's trending like retro games. Like do you have like a go? Do you have like a go-to like a PS1 or something like that?
So in my house, I actually have my PS2 and it still works just fine. I still have my DS and my 3DS, and I even have my Game Boy too.
Oh, sick.
So yeah,
Nice.
like I've been playing video games practically my whole life.
Nice.
So,
Especially like the Game Boy, like the handhelds, like how can you not love those, or like the PSP? Like I still have my Game Boy somewhere in my closet. It's buried
PSP
somewhere, but
was
it's
the
there.
shit back in the day.
Yeah. It did everything. You could watch what you had like
Watch
a little
movies.
like DVD disc, that movies, internet. You could, I think, you even put like download pictures, music. Like, it was way ahead of its time.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And if they brought that, they would have bring that back, modernized into whatever they can make it, I bet you anything, it would make a lot of sales and it would sell out quick.
Oh yeah, I know. Oh, especially right now, I think it would work. I know they tried like the PSP Go, and it didn't do so well. I think just the timing, like you were saying, like I think right now would work perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Next question: do you have a favorite sports team?
To be honest, the only sport I'm really into and watch is wrestling, and that's just always been my whole life. The reason for that is because the other sports never really caught my attention like wrestling did, you know? Like I would pay attention to the fans when it comes to baseball. They're not that into it. There are some fans that are, don't get me wrong, and I have my own perspective on it, but this is just based off what I saw. And it's like football is exciting, but there's just this one thing about wrestling that caught my attention that never took it away. And it's just like the main reason why I'm doing that for a living and why I continue doing it. So when it comes to like sports team, you know, I would say like I have cousins, I have families that watch a lot of football and a lot of baseball and stuff like that. So whenever they ask me like, hey, come watch the game with me, it'd be like Cowboys or something, and I watch it with them. Yeah. So I would say like, I wouldn't say favorite, but I do watch a lot of Cowboys. So there you go.
Nice. No works. So we kind of, I think I was gonna understand what you're saying too, because like now we watch them more, but like even growing up, it's like I'd rather like do it than watch it. Like I'm not gonna sit like 9 innings of baseball. I'd rather just go play than
Yeah, I'm
doing
the
it.
same way.
You know, and then wrestling, like it's just something that resonates. Like, no, I love it. Like
Mhm.
all aspects of it. So we totally get
Right.
it. Nice. Next question: Do you have a hobby outside of wrestling?
So other than working out, I actually do have a few hobbies. So occasionally I'll play like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that, just for fun. Because back when I was a kid, that's what I used to love too. So I would play that. I still play that up to this day. And sometimes I'll get my Switch and I'll just play the whatever Pokemon game I have or Mario games. So I guess that counts as a hobby.
Oh, you know, it counts for
I got
sure.
it, yeah.
Are you surprised now, like how big like Pokemon is? Like everyone's into it. Even like people are just like even flipping for it. Like, oh man, I want to resell it. It kind of like hurts the market, but like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, just how Pokemon's big today.
So my opinion on that is like it's amazing how it's turning out, and the fact that everybody loves it and that almost everybody knows what it is fantastic. It's a great way to make friends, gather a bunch of people and hang out and stuff like that. So I really have no negative feedback against it. The only negative feedback I have is when it comes to the market and people trying to hustle other people for a ridiculous price on, like, let's say a set card or something.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly. I think that's just now everything in the collectibles, but especially Pokemon. Yeah. I have friends that collect it, and I went to Target. I try to get my buddy a gift or something like that, like a card set. It's just impossible now. Mm-hmm. Like even online, it's just next to impossible. You have to go like find a secondhand seller, and then he'll like double or triple it. So, I mean, it has its pros and cons. Like, okay, now people want to buy it and are interested, but it hurts it too. So
it does.
Sure. Next question: do you have a ritual you like to do before you enter the ring?
For me, I like to stretch a lot because in that ring, whether we know it or not, we never know what's going to happen inside the ring. And it's always a good idea to stretch and warm up and stay active, because that's what we do in the ring. We stay active and we make a lot of physical contact, and we put our bodies on the line for the audience enjoyment, basically. So I do a lot of that, as well as I pray as well. I pray to God. I'm very religious when it comes to God and stuff like that. So I pray, and I always pray that I'm taken care of and that everything goes smoothly and stuff like that. And I come back home safe and without any scratches and stuff like that.
Nice. I think Alex and I too, we relate to that because we used to do a lot of sports and a lot of like combat sports, like wrestling or martial arts. And we always said this thing, we always did a prayer, no matter the outcome, as long as everyone's safe and happy, and that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
And two, like stretching too. I think like now everyone is so active and trying to do something, especially with this time of like COVID. Like stretching is so underrated. I feel like everyone wants to just jump in cold, and like how many injuries you're gonna get just from not stretching for 10 minutes.
Exactly.
Which is just ridiculous. Like stretch for 10 minutes and you're good.
Mm-hmm.
Last but not least, if you could have a match with someone who isn't a wrestler, who would it be with? It could be an actor, or athlete, celebrity, fictional character, anybody you like.
To be honest, I'd probably pick Ryan Reynolds because it'd probably be hilarious.
Right? Yeah. Right. Would you want him like in a Deadpool outfit or just?
Oh, without a doubt, Deadpool.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so much more fun if you put on that Deadpool outfit.
Yeah, for sure. And how do you see that match going?
Me losing to whatever BDSM he wants to put me into.
Right.
Knowing Deadpool.
No, for sure. Yeah, something freaky will come out for sure. Oh man. Nice.
Awesome. Again, Eric, thank you so much again for taking the time to do this podcast, man. We're really, really excited to have you on. Especially, for your career, everything you've been doing so far with VWF and Hard Knocks. I want to get to that a little bit later, but I want to get to the beginning side of your career. Like first, like how did you get introduced to pro wrestling?
So I love being asked this question because it always brings me back to the good old days of like me being a fan and just loving it entirely. So thank you for asking that question. I love that question. So when I was younger, I wasn't really heavily into wrestling, let alone a fan, but I would watch it with my relatives and I would play the video games with them. And I would say I was a wrestling fan before I even knew I was a wrestling fan, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So he would put on SmackDown, he would put on Raw, sometimes he'll put on the pay-per-views, and then I would watch it with them. And then whenever he would put on the games like WrestleMania 17 on the GameCube or WrestleMania 2000 on the Nintendo 64, as well as No Mercy, I would play it with them. And I guess it just developed from there. And the more and more I started watching, the more and more I got into it. And eventually I started getting myself into it. So this is when I didn't have cable at this time. I had nothing to watch. So I was just flipping through channels. And this was the time when SmackDown was on My 13. So I was flipping channels on a Friday night, and the first thing that popped up was SmackDown. I stopped and I watched, and I remember it was Undertaker, and I forgot what else, but I stayed and watched for Undertaker, and because they were doing weekly shows, I kept coming back, and ever since then I was just like, you know what, I love this shit. I'm gonna keep watching it.
Nice. Yeah, I remember that time when he was in Channel 13 every Friday nights. You know, you watch it, like it was 2 hours. It was awesome time.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, you know, who got like your attention? Like, who's your favorite wrestler as a fan?
At the time, my favorite wrestler was Jeff Hardy, without a doubt. And then it slowly started becoming CM Punk.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Nice. And then do you have like a favorite moment too, like watching it, like as a fan, like your favorite match that you remember?
So my favorite moment wasn't necessarily like watching it from home. It was when I attended as an audience member.
Oh, okay.
So I had gotten these tickets as my birthday present back in 2009, and it was for the tickets for SummerSlam. And this is when they first started doing Los Angeles in SummerSlam for like, I think 4 to 5 years consecutively. And this was, I believe, the first time they started doing SummerSlam in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And the highlight of the night was when Undertaker made a return and chokeslammed CM Punk after he defended his title against Jeff Hardy. So that was one of my favorite moments. And when it comes to like my first time seeing wrestling, my first moment that I remember was when Undertaker tossed mankind off the Hell in a Cell, like the most iconic moment that they keep talking about to this day.
Yeah,
that one.
Awesome. Especially what are your thoughts now, especially with, you know, Hardy being AEW and CM Punk also making a return? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Seeing it, I guess, a fan's perspective.
Can you repeat the question? I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Oh, I said, you know, what are your thoughts, especially with Jeff Hardy and like CM Punk now they're in Elite Wrestling, you know, especially CM Punk making his, you know, return. Like, what are your thoughts, especially as a fan, to see that?
As a fan, it's very exciting to see them wanting to come back inside the ring in a different promotion, because they're at least able to do something different in a different brand, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I think that's very exciting.
Oh yeah, especially everything going on too with AEW and the matches they're doing too. CM Punk facing, you know, out there. It's been a really good run for him, and it's been really exciting too. Especially if you're a fan of both of them too. It's been pretty cool. Right. But I want to ask you too, you know, saying that you're, you know, being a fan and watching, you know, Diddy and, you know, playing the video games, did you ever collect the figures? As you can see from behind, we collect them. Did you ever collect them?
Sadly, I did not. But there was a point in time in my life on my birthday that I did get action figures, and I would keep them. So I never really collected them, but anytime they would be given to me, I would accept them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember like which ones you had?
I remember I had Shelton Benjamin.
Oh,
and nice. I think I had Kane too.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, this was a long time ago, so it's like a vague memory of mine.
Awesome. And then, like, you know, tell me, you know, the time that you made a decision to be a professional wrestler. Like, when did that moment come for you that you were going to pursue into this business?
So when I was younger, I would watch it to the point where I started, you know how when every kid they got into wrestling, they started like play fighting with their stuffed animals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was after I started doing that a lot in my living room that I said, this is what I want to do for a living. The more I watched it, the more I started doing it at home, just like messing around as a kid, the more and more I'm like, yeah, this is fun. And this is something I want to do. And this is something I know I'm going to be happy doing. So ever since I was a kid, I decided this is what I want to do with my life.
And what did you like your friends and like family react to that news that you want to be a professional wrestler?
It was more 50-50. So my family, I would say like my mom, she was supportive about it, but she was always the type to say like, you never know what could happen because it's a contact sport and it could be dangerous. So just always have a backup plan just in case something serious happens. So I keep that in my mind and I said, that's fine with me. And my mom's always been supportive of it. And there have been times where like, I would say like friends at school, they would make fun of me for it. A lot of times that I call them friends because I don't really talk to them anymore. But my current friends that are like family to me, they're 100% supportive. They've even been shows and they get excited on when my next show is. And they're like, I want to go. And the same thing goes for my family right now, is that they're very supportive of it, especially my nieces and nephews. They love coming to the shows. So,
and how did that come? And what was the reaction to see you for like the first time in the ring? Like, what was their reaction like seeing you perform?
So the first time they saw me inside the ring, they were so excited. They're like, my friends that are like family, they're like, that's my brother. My mom's like, that's my son, all that stuff.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That's so cool. And then, like Rich and I, we actually got the privilege to see you wrestle live. And I believe this was a while ago. This was, I believe this was at Ontario. And this was at the Greater Blessings.
Okay.
And it was a match between you and Breeze. And you versus Alan Breeze. I remember watching that match too. It was like such a good match, back and forth for you two. And I remember after that watching that, and I remember going back on YouTube and then looking you up, looking at your matches, especially the ones even in Hard Knocks too. So it's been like, watching you and watching where you are now, and even winning the Hard Knocks title. It's been really cool to see how you every time you're getting better and better and better.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
But take me back to the moment, like, how did you first discover, how did you, what school did you actually train first?
So I've always stuck around Jesse Hernandez School of Hard Knocks. That's where I started, and that's where I continue staying, because through my time of wrestling, I have learned that, in my opinion, Jesse is the best, and Jesse is the man to go to when it comes to the business and wrestling. Like, there's a lot of people under his name, and I've heard stories from him too, that he's trained famous wrestlers too and worked alongside them that probably not a lot of people know about. And each and every single time he tells me and the other students these stories, I always start to think to myself, I'm in the right place and I have the right trainer, and I should not go anywhere else,
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And honestly, it's the best school, in California, but most probably in the world, honestly, because Jesse's able to bring, because like Rich and I, we've been going to shows, EWF shows since probably 2005, 2006. So the people that have been going into EWF, like you really think of the names like TJ Perkins also there, Rocky Romero, the Young Bucks, Carl Machine Gun Anderson, Ryan Taylor, even Mikey Nichols, who was, I believe, Nick Miller in NXT. But yeah, just a big list of names that were able to come out there, not even trained, but also wrestle there. And just the lineage of just names. Melina too. I forgot her, Frank Kazarian, just
Rico.
Yeah. But for you to be part of that, how special it is to be part of around with Jesse, just wrestling such a company like EWF. Like, what does it mean for you to be part of that family over there?
It means the world to me, to be honest with you. To me that we're treated like family there. And because we're treated like family there, I'm welcomed, and it's my home essentially.
Yeah.
So whenever I go out, I start, feeling like, oh, I miss my home and stuff like that. But, I got to branch out and do my thing,
Yeah.
But I always feel like, let's say I do make it and I am successful in this business, I always feel like somehow, some way I'm going to keep coming back to EWF. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And then take me back to like the first day of going to wrestling school. Like, what was that moment like for you to step in there and take your first bump? Like, what was that whole feeling experience for you going in there for the first time?
So going in, stepping inside that ring and actually having my first training session, I knew right then and there, as soon as I took my first bump, I said to myself, yep, I made the right decision and I'm going to keep doing this.
And what was a typical day too? Like, what was like the training like in the workouts? Like, what was like a typical day at training at Hard Knocks? Like, what did it consist of?
It consisted of a lot of drills and a lot of rolls, and I would say a lot of bumps, because we have to know how to roll and we have to know how to take a bump and stuff like that in order for us to do the cooler stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that.
And what is it like also working with Jesse, especially like, one-on-one? Like, what's it like being trained under him?
It's the best. I would honestly say that he is the best teacher I've ever had in my life. I've had cooler teachers, but when it comes to like specifically this and what I'm trying to do with my life, he is the best teacher and the best mentor I've ever had and that I could ever ask for.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And what's been like the best advice that you've been given so far?
The best advice he's given me was to humble myself and, to not only just take care of myself, but he would also say that to always treat everybody else with respect, because you never know whose toes you're going to step on that could impact your career. So
absolutely, that's great advice. That's very, very true. And, even during the time of training, like, was there any like specific video that you watch on a certain wrestler to kind of get inspiration for your ring style? Like, was that someone that you watched?
So I have various people that I watch when it comes to my ring style. So I watch a lot of John Moxley. I watch a lot of CM Punk, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Jonathan Gresham, and Bryan Danielson. So just aspects of everything when it comes to grappling, striking, technicality, and wrestling in general. I'm always watching which one they're good at, so that way I can learn from them.
Mm-hmm. And I was going to say that too, like watching you live too, you're a little bit kind of well-rounded, a little bit of everything.
Yep.
Like you throw kicks in, it's like a little mix, a little bit of everything.
Thank you.
Which is great to see, because it's always like you see that one guy like, okay, that he's just a high flyer, and then this guy's just all technical. But it's very rare to see someone that can just mix it and do it very, very well.
Thank you.
Can add a little bit into it, and that's what you do. And especially with Jesse too, like we were saying, a lot of guys came from that school. A lot of people wrestled there. But was there a time that he brought guys into the school to train with you guys, or even seminars that you had the opportunity to go to?
There was this one point. This is way before I started wrestling. This is when I was still a student. I still am a student, but I remember he brought in Ryan Taylor and Ricardo Rodriguez to help train us and, teach us what we need to do to get better.
And how was that like training under them?
It was interesting, to be honest with you. It was really interesting, and I learned a lot from them. I learned how to be better at promos from Ricardo, and I learned better in-ring technicality from Ryan Taylor.
Yeah, especially with them too. Like they're one of the best to do, especially Ryan Taylor. Everything he's doing, especially in New Japan, especially Ricardo, everything he's done with WWE, which is great. Both of them with what they do. But going into that, and then what was that whole experience like for you to have your first match? Like, when did that come about? You having your first match and going out there?
It felt like a dream come true. It felt like everything that I was working for, everything that I was putting all of my effort to, was paid off. And the more and more I kept doing it, the more and more I kept telling myself, this is exactly what I wanted to do. I'm happy doing this. And this is something I want to continue doing with the rest of my life. And I know for a fact I'm going to make it big. And I know that I'm going to be successful in this. And it's just continuously telling myself that gives me that motivation, and seeing everybody else in the crowd, especially you guys, that appreciate the kind of wrestler I am and sports entertainer, I would say, because that's what they say in WWE. It just continues to motivate me to continue to do it more and be better at it, and to just hope for the best, essentially.
Yeah. And especially too, like, also you have the opportunity to also do Hard Knocks Wrestling, which especially at the time when, like, COVID and everything, they were doing, like, especially no audience. What was that whole experience like for you? Because I know when you're out there in the crowd, obviously it's there to get a reaction, but with Hard Knocks Wrestling was no audience there. So was it difficult for you to wrestle no audience and not get that reaction from people?
So we didn't necessarily have no audience. We had our students there to kind of help us get an audience. But from what we have with Hard Knocks, it's essentially our NXT. So it is basically a platform for our students to be able to have their first match, and they get the experience of it. So that way, when they step foot inside an EWF ring and an actual live crowd, they already have an idea of what to do.
And it's true, because like watching it and then watching, like, even like, honestly, I'm a big fan of like your promos, what you do like on the mic, and then also what you do even with social media, like all the stuff you do, all the videos, with everything. I love it. And I always show Richard the videos, which I always laugh, and it's awesome.
Right.
But for you, like, how did it, like, for you, like, doing promos, like, for the first time? Like, what was it like for you doing that? Was this something that you got on very easily, or was it something that took time for you to get better in with promos?
It took time for me to get better at it, but it was one of those, the more you do it, the better you get at it.
Absolutely. And especially every time you do it, you keep getting better and better, and it's much entertaining, and it's funny to watch you on the mic and watch you on, especially the videos you make.
Thank you.
But especially, at the time we saw you were Erick Red, and then now you're Erick Rojas. What made you decide to kind of make that switch and make that different from you?
Lifestyle, man. Just based on the lifestyle. Like, I would say when I was Erick Red, it was more of like experimenting of the kind of person I wanted to be. And then when I was able to finally discover myself through my friends who was helping me out and giving me advice, I rediscovered myself, and now that's why I'm El Vato Loco Erick Rojas.
And what was EWF's reaction? Like, what was Jesse or everyone out EWF's reaction when you decided to do something different?
They got excited, and they were very proud of me. So,
which is good too, especially if they like it, which is you're doing something right. But like, to get inspiration, like, was there something you would watch, like movies or something that, to kind of get inspiration for this character, or was this something that just kind of hit normal for you?
So the El Vato Loco name, I got it from Blood In, Blood Out, because they would always say Vato Loco a lot. But the person that I am inside that ring, that's genuinely how I am. That's genuinely how I am. And I figured if I could be this inside the ring, I'm pretty sure people are going to love it. And I get it all the time. Like, oh, that's my uncle, that's my cousin, this and that. I love it. It's the most hilarious thing ever. So the inspiration, I would say, is like the kind of person that I am, that I mix it with Blood In, Blood Out, because they say Vato Loco a lot. And of course, Eddie Guerrero. I love Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, same. Big fan of his. But especially, even with doing, being Erick Rojas, and especially now, recently, you won the Hard Knocks Championship, and what was that moment for you winning that title and having also a great match, but also winning that title? What did it mean for you, for your career, to have that championship belt?
It meant a lot to me. And after I won that title, I just kept working hard. I just kept training harder, because I wanted to be the best, and I wanted to make sure everybody knew that I'm the champion, and they're going to have to work harder than me to take it away from me.
And especially with the title too, now, is it something that, you're not the champion anymore, but is that something you want back? Is it something that you would like to go have opportunity to have that match again?
Oh, without a doubt, I'm definitely gonna take that title back, and I'm gonna make sure everybody knows that I am the champion to be for Hard Knocks Wrestling. And that same thing goes for the Empire Wrestling Federation. When I take the American title and the EWF World Heavyweight Champion, and if I find a tag team partner, best believe I'm taking that EWF tag team titles, boy.
And especially, we've had, Hard Knocks champion right now is CJ Thunder. We've had him on the podcast. We've had other wrestlers in EWF roster in the podcast. Is there a message that you would like to tell those guys, especially even the guys that Thunder was probably watching this? Is a message for him?
I would say this: ask advice on the people that have faced me before, because they all know I hit hard and I don't hold back. So anybody that wants to step up to me inside that ring, best believe I'll be waiting.
Awesome. But going back, with all the matches you had, because every match that you have has been really exciting, really cool to watch you every time you step in the ring. But in your opinion, what's been your favorite match so far in your career? Like, is there a list of names that you like to go in the ring with?
I have a lot of fun with Trailer King because he stands his ground just like I do. And even though we have, different lifestyles, I respect the man specifically because he's a beer drinker. So I'll give him that. And when it comes to everybody else, they're all right. All right. Now, if there is this one person that I would love to face inside the ring, it would most definitely be AJ Styles.
That would be nice. How would you see that match going? Do you get the win?
Probably not. He's got a lot more experience than I ever could. So pretty sure I'm gonna lose, but that doesn't mean I'm not gonna put up a good fight.
I was gonna say that, yeah. You're not gonna make it easy for him, pretty much.
Exactly.
Nice. And speaking about Trailer King, his lifestyle, I always want to ask this, but both of you guys are beer drinkers. What is your favorite beer?
It's always Modelo time, ese.
Nice. Yeah, I know you two both have different tastes, but I agree with you. I think Rich and I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's also speaking, about Trailer King. What was it like to work with him? Like, what is it like having him as an opponent too, and being in the ring with him?
It's a different experience. I'm gonna say that, and he has his. How can I put it? He's one of the best guys I've ever had the opportunity to work with, and I learned a lot every single time I step inside that ring with him. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
And especially with now, who do you want to face in the future that you haven't faced in EWF ring? Is there a list of guys that you like to face?
If he comes back for a one night thing, I would say Jordan Clearwater.
Ooh.
That
would be nice. Especially, he's been the past guest in the pod. That would be that. Yeah, I like that. That would be a really good match. How would you see that going? Do you beat Jordan Clearwater?
I'm sorry?
How would you see that match going? Do you think you get a victory over him?
I would say it'd be a 50-50. But I would tell you this. Best believe I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to make sure he remembers who I am.
Yeah. Well said. Yeah. I think that'll be a great match too, especially, I would like to see that in the future for sure. But especially, how it is, especially with wrestling now, how much wrestling do you watch today? Do you keep up with WWE and AEW and Impact, all those promotions? How much do you watch on a basis today?
So when it comes to WWE, like Raw and SmackDown specifically, I don't keep up at all. I really don't. The only thing I really keep up when it comes to WWE and AEW, and I would say New Japan, would be when they start posting it on their Instagram.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's when I catch up on wrestling. And sometimes, I'll watch Botchamania on YouTube to see what goes on and, the funny stuff that happens, because there's always something funny happening in wrestling. So I would say yes and no. I'm like in between.
Okay. And especially with now, like, what are your goals, as of now? Like, what's the promotion that you would like to sign with in the future?
I would love to be able to work with Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. I would love to be able to work for PWG. Nice. It's low-key a dream of mine to work for New Japan and NWA Power.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man, that would be great. Yeah. I think just thinking about the matchups you can have with those promotions, I think it would be really awesome to see.
Right.
Especially. And then also, outside of the EWF, like, what wrestlers would you like to have a match with? Is there a list of guys that you like to go in the ring with?
I would love to step inside the ring against Chris Bay.
Oh,
he's a good one.
Yeah.
For sure, Bay, Will Ospreay, of course, CM Punk and Bryan Danielson. There's a lot of people that I want to step inside the ring with, to be honest.
Yeah, that'd be so. Yeah, just thinking about it, yeah, man, that'd be really exciting. Hopefully in the future we can see that happen.
Hopefully, man.
But especially, if someone's watching this and wants to be a professional wrestler, what advice could you give to someone that wants to be in this business?
My advice, if they want to start being a pro wrestler, I would say go for it. If you really love pro wrestling and if it means that much to you, you will go for it and you will find a way. So when I first started, I wanted to do it at a younger age, but I didn't have the money, I didn't have the ride, I didn't have anything. So I waited till I had the money and I had my own car to be able to take myself to Jesse's school to start training, and it's just been going on since then. So if you really want it, you will make time and you will make the effort to make it happen. And on top of that, you are going to have so much fun. It is the best thing ever. As the typical generic thing to say is follow your dreams and don't give up on it. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't give up on it, it won't give up on you.
Well said. Well said. And especially through this journey of, the wrestling journey, what's been like your favorite moment so far going on this ride?
My favorite moment is being able to share the locker room with so many good people that love it, if not better than me. And at the same time, it's being able to see the fans' reaction when they're having a good time. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome, man. Well said. And again, dude, thank you so much for taking the time to do this, man. We've had so much fun having you on, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. And before, we sign off, is there anything you'd like to plug in? Anything you have upcoming? And also social media? Anything where the fans could find you?
Keep up with the Instagram of Empire Wrestling Federation, as well as check out their website. Hit up Jesse Hernandez, School of Hard Knocks. If you want to start being a professional wrestler, he is the best guy to go to. I promise you, you will learn a lot from him, and he is the best to learn from, in my opinion.
Absolutely, man. Definitely agree. And also, we have the extravaganza coming up, the anniversary that you're going to be a part of.
Yes, I am.
And what are your thoughts on that matchup?
It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to tell you that right now, especially since Trailer King's on that match against me. So it's going to be fun.
Awesome. Again, we'll put down everything in the description down below here. And you can find EWF Empire Wrestling Federation. Also, you can find Erick Rojas. So please do yourself a favor to go follow him and also watch him live. He's very entertaining and very fun to watch. So again, follow down description down below where you can find Empire Wrestling Federation. Again, Mr. Ross, thank you so much for being on the podcast, man. We had so much fun. Thank you again.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
And that's going to do it us here for Championship Online Podcast. We'll see you guys next time.